you're there.
Yes, sir, we are here.
What I'm saying is, when I turn to pass on the control to me.
Right.
Okay. With me, so that's all.
Okay.
Or I think you have to enable the share screen for me because I
Doing
was
What is doing. So once I give you the permissions, you would be able to share your screen.
okay.
Okay. Then people have joined in. Hi everyone. Morning. Thanks a lot for joining in. We'll wait for about 5 to 7 more minutes to let everybody join in. And sharp at 12 p.m. IST, we will begin the webinar. Thanks a lot for your patience. We look forward to your participation. Hi all, for the ones that have joined us now. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for everybody to join in, and then we're going to start the webinar. Thanks a lot for your patience.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible. Thanks a lot for joining in, taking our time for this webinar. Um, so for next 55 minutes, we'll have uh, a quick presentation from our guest speaker, Mrs. Nilima Gani, who's the Senior Program Manager at HPE, followed by a quick presentation from Mr. Raghu. And then we'll be happy to take in your questions. Feel free to pour in your questions through the chat box as and when you feel. And by the end of the session in the last 10-15 minutes, we'll be taking up your questions. Um, so, so the webinar, this is a webinar on Scaled Agile framework, and the idea is to get a more detailed understanding about how enterprises are achieve agility on a much larger scale. I'll have a quick introduction. Um, so, for I'm sure a lot of people who have joined in will know about Zenov, but for people who are still new to Zenov, so we are a management consulting company with over 50 years of experience now, broadly divided across 5 key segments. I personally belong to enterprise digital transformation. So we have a team size of about 160 plus, and um, uh, uh, with with the Fortune 500 global clients across different industries and practices. So we are partnered with Digite. Digite is a Silicon Valley-based provider of collaboratively managing global distributed products and projects and programs. It has multiple solutions, with 2 key solutions being Swift Kanban and Swift ALM within Kanban space and application lifecycle management space. Uh, Currently on more than 24,000 projects with over a million users globally. They're both cloud as well as on-prem products. So one of our guest speakers today, Raghu, is the Senior VP at Digite, and he'll be sharing his views on Scaled Agile framework. I can wait for the slide to load up. Yeah, quick introduction about Digite as I just spoke about. As we mentioned, our guest speaker for the event is Ms. Nilima Gani. She has more than 18 years of experience in enterprise engineering process, and she has been running the implementations for the same. The certified SAFe consultant, Agilist, and a Scrum Master. She has been working with HP for a very long time, 23 years now. She's a MS degree in software systems from BITS Pilani. The guest speaker that we have for the event is Mr. Raghu. As I mentioned, he is a senior VP and head of business development and customer support at Digite. He brings in more than 25 years of sales experience now. And for Digite, he has been handling sales and media initiatives within Middle East and Asia Pac region. He has a significant stint with courses in HCL before being one of the key members of Digite. He also has a degree from IIT Delhi. Okay. I think I'll pass the control to Nilima, who has a quick presentation, and she'll be happy to share her views on Scaled Agile. and what's the current that's happening with that space, and how can enterprise adopt an effective scaled agile methodology. So I'll just, you can give me a minute, I'll just pass on the control to Nilima. Nilima, can you share your screen now? Are you able to do that?
That,
Okay, great.
like when you can see this.
Yeah, I can see your screen now.
Great, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. I'm here to talk about the Scaled Agile framework and some of the practical, experiences with implementing the same. I'll actually talk about what is safe, in such a short time, not just on the highlights, and then, get on with what are the business results that, we've achieved in my experience, and also some of the industry, case studies available. Let's talk briefly about, the SAFE implementation plan, which an enterprise wishing to mark on, the journey, right? So what kind of steps to take? Hopefully we'll have some time for questions, so do feel free to, post your questions to Dheeraj. Started, so, just want to give data points on way, some of the traditional assumptions have been made, right, during the fall days, and also, during the transition to Agile. Assumption is, and define exactly what we want to build, way in advance, right? The emphasis on having all the requirements available, and then need the complete design to actually start implementing. The other assumption is, we can build it right the first time. Remember, that used to be the motto, right, the first time. And then build it, then it's very simple for the IT ops team to just deploy it, right, in the organization. But so, different with the software development happened, and our experience with projects, things are really different. What I noticed is, it's almost able to know all the requirements in the beginning. Design has to be flexible enough, not just for rating changing requirements, also for future architecture. It's not possible to build right the first time. There are major issues that are discovered during integration and system testing. Just bring it and hoping that it's possible to deploy. That assumption doesn't work. Typically, operations has a real hard time actually maintaining the product in the production environment. Framework is kind of solution to these problems, and I'll just try to explain that a bit. Some of the key aspects are basically, the Agile framework synchronizes the development development of a large number of teams so that they are building, frequently, integrating frequently, and testing frequently, and then value at the end of a specific cadence. Right? So some elements, remain the same. For example, there are the development teams. So there are the agile teams, right? They're organizing. Their aim is to complete plan their delivery for and deliver value every sprint, and it's functional, right? So instead of just consisting of developers, it has to be a cross-functional team. Should have testers, should have people from UX, from the product management, and so basically that's what scaled agile framework recommends. The fact is the other concept of agile release train, right? So an release train is especially useful where there's a huge team, there are a lot of agile teams, and there is a need to synchronize the development and deliverables across these teams, right? And the key aspects here are, maintaining the continuous delivery pipeline, aspects of continuous exploration, continuous integration, and continuous deployment. And it is that of a program increment. A program increment is basically it constitutes 4 sprints of dev and test cycles, and also one innovation and planning sprint. And is that at the end of the planning increment of the program increment, basically a system, integrated system usable by the customer is released. Right? This aspect of synchronization becomes very important. Of course, a very key aspect of SAFe is around built-in quality. So instead of leaving the testing to the line, the idea is shift all that QA activity right into the sprint, right down till the user story level, and integrate more frequently, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and test automation. And of course, each team out the sprint retrospectives and also the PI inspect and adapt cycles. And these are cycles where these are all events where the teams introspect and kind of figure out where they can do better and plan those interactions for the coming sprints or PIs. So in brief, the scaled agile framework, there are roles here like product management role is a very important role, the business owner role is a very, very important role. But I have to give the essence of what really makes this work. So there are different configurations of SAFe. SAFe is enterprises can kind of choose which ones they want to get into, and the recommendation is they begin with essential SAFe with one agile release train and become experts in all these processes. And there is also portfolio SAFe, which is basically it's the gap between the strategy and the execution. So what are strategic themes of a company, right, get mapped into value streams, and value streams get mapped into the agile release streams. Large solution SAFe, where if more than one ART is required and there are a number of vendors contributing to the solution. It will be a very large team of teams. A large solution SAFe really helps in that scenario. And of course, full SAFe for a completely large enterprise who want to do portfolio SAFe as well as solution SAFe. So just to like iteration in the say 4.5, which has just come out. So I just want to highlight that. So some of the benefits, in my experience, so one thing that we have realized is we're able to deliver value much more rapidly than we were doing here. For example, previously release cadences were 18 months or even more, and the back-end testing used to extend for, upward of 9 weeks. That significantly reduced because of these integration cycles and learning cycles. Also, product, because one is the opportunity for the customer to give feedback end of the sprint or at end of the PI, and so the team does retrospectives and figures out how to improve. Predictive is improved. For last 6 quarters, we've been able to deliver as planned. Processing increased. The engineering teams especially are focused on a single global backlog and distractions. Whatever is planned for a sprint, that's what gets done. It really has helped in increasing the value that's being delivered. Of course, team members, because they are able to plan and deliver based on whatever they've planned. And then on the release themes that have been delivered, you can see that the value delivered quarter over quarter has significantly increased. Also, across the industry, some business results, time to market, companies have found time to market has increased up to 75%. There's option 25 to 75%. They not increased the productivity of the teams and in the motivation of the employees. Right? Look at some of the case studies are all, large corporations, including HPE, that benefited from implementation of SAFe. Some factors in my experience, I just thought, let me highlight that. So, one obviously, investment in training and coaching and experiential learning. So there are kinds of trainings, starting with leadership, masters, product owners, and also the teams. They're really investing in the roles, having dedicated team members, having dedicated Scrum Masters, full-time Agile coaches, product owners, and also, above all, basically the dedication to the methodology, and it begins right from the top, right from the zonal level, where there's sincere effort being made to actually be agile and not just doing agile, with change in mindset needed. And then, obviously, stick to the plan of, look at the prioritized global backlog and working on the same. Having said that, there are also some key learnings. And actually, each iteration is a learning, so that never stops. The first and foremost is command and control dies hard, right? Which is basically leadership. Basically, it's a significant change in mindset for them from control to being servant leader. Thing is integration with product management, which is the regular and feedback cycles with the product management, cycles and improvements on the customers. Planning out the agile release train right from the beginning, and instead of just putting some Scrum teams together and expecting them to deliver, better to map the value streams and figure out the correct constitution of the agile release trains. Also, an adapt cycles, which are extremely important. They have proved to be very useful in maintaining safe. Let me talk a bit about the implementation roadmap. So it begins with the like we call it the safe tipping point. Basically, the organization realizes that okay, we need to about this transformation, right? And reasons, there could be a burning need, or there could be like a for continuous improvement. With identifying some new agile change agents, people like me, agile coaches for organizations, and then it is the step is to train the leadership, the executives, the managers, leaders, and then to actually identify the value streams in the organization and map the RTs, creating the implementation plan, steps steps in each of these steps. I'm not going through that, but even the ART launch, it's a well planned out cycle where the product log is prepared in advance by the product owners. There is a training for the Scrum teams, safe training for teams, and then actually launch the ART. That is basically the beginning of the first programming increment, right? And then, of course, there are various ceremonies and meetings to plan and track the actual execution over sprint, and also at the PI level. And once the organization has achieved success with its first ART, then we recommend that more ARTs be launched the business needs of the organization. And this level is to extend to the entire portfolio, which spoke about, like map strategic intent and identify the next value stream to transform. Sustaining and improvement cycle, which is the basic element of safe, and so that's how innovation moves into the sustain and improve phase. I'll just talk of how we have been doing it. In my organization, typically, vision and mission absolutely important, and we set up front by the leadership, the business owner basically, and we with a very strong, definition of, follows the single global backlog. And no team actually has a separate backlog. Everybody aligns to the single global backlog, and all these concepts of, deliver faster, building quality, predictability, right metrics. So these were the mission statements that were given to us. And the agile organization was planned. So we looked at the agile change agents, trained them, and then identified the lean agile leadership, starting the executive action team, and then going down to all the scrummers and POs, and then we figured out the agile release train and the function of those. And second effort went into training the entire team, and said everybody on these certifications for Scrum Master and PO, the SEUs. All teams have been trained on agile concepts. Also, we adoption of tools, which really aid in implementing safe. And then people became more comfortable with safe concepts. We started seeing a change in behavior. Agile coming in, with certain leaders and teams self-organizing among themselves, implement for themselves, conducting the reviews and learning cycles. And then sustainable improvement, self-assessment teams, identify room where they need to improve, and it's a continuous cycle of improvement. So that to talk about here. Um,
Great, thanks. Thanks a lot. I think that was really insightful and touched the key parts, key fundamental parts of SAFe. So I think that was really helpful. The audiences, I think, again, feel free to put in your questions. I'm getting a few. So feel free to put in your questions and we'll try to take up some of those in the last 10-15 minutes. I'll quickly pass the control to Raghu, who would like to share his views on scaled agile practice. Raghu, let me know once you can to share your screen.
Sure. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
You can see your screen now.
Oh, cool. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for taking your time to join this webinar. Really appreciate it. This is Raghu, and I head business for DJ. I'm based here in Bangalore. Like Disha mentioned in the introduction, Silicon Valley-based product company, leaders in the area of global distributed, collaborative, agile delivery management solutions that we offer to our customers. More than 1 million use, we're part of about 150 odd global customers in all the 3-4 continents of the world. In terms of products, we have main products. Off with the SAFe, which is the SAFe product that we've just launched, and then Swift Sync, Swift Kanban, and Swift ALM. All these products help you to essentially do delivery management and make your entire enterprise agile. A quick sense of what these solutions and products are. Swift Ease, which is on SAFe. Launched this about a month back in the SAFe Summit in San Antonio and in the US. Extremely good reviews. Swift is our agile lean Kanban-based project management software. This is built by many companies in the in Europe and in the US and Asia Pacific, and people have been using this for many years now. We have an integrated enterprise project management and delivery product that elements of process governance and LC, and all this is kind of stitched together with very strong integration product where we have about 50 odd ALM tool integration adapters which are available out of the box. So these are our 4 main products, and you can get more information on our website. And I just wanted to let the audience know that we have an early access program that we're running for Swift Ease. So any one of you is interested in trying out our solution offering, I would encourage you to look at it, because the access program does give you some benefits, both in terms of influencing some of our product roadmap, as well as some additional benefits. Our point of view on how SAFe tool would behave is that we believe that the SAFe, obviously being for scaled and large implementation, one of the tenets that it should kind of adhere to is it should be inherently light and easy to use. It should be built on top of the scaled agile body of knowledge. So that's kind of the premise based on which we think that safe tools should be built. Build that thing on three foundational pillars on top of the scaled agile body of knowledge. One is get it more visual, which way where things are going in all parts, in all applications, and in all products, and something that we want to embark. The visualment obviously has higher cognition abilities and also makes it inherently easy for people to understand and execute. The second is on the lean execution principles that we've kind of embarked on, for the last many years, where the Agile community has moved to embarking lean and Kanban principles, and can those integrate well in the execution of the of SAFe to make this entire thing lightweight and easy to use. So those are the three building pillars, if I were to call it that way, and that's our point of view. And we believe that it's any solution that works on SAFe is used by SAFe community, the SAFe team, to obviously be able to work with existing tools. We expect that companies would be having existing tools where they would be running some amount of at a team level, and we should already have the ability to integrate with existing tools. That you want to rip and replace your existing investments, I think is extremely important. So, how do we think these three pillars make SAFe more powerful? I just wanted to spend a few minutes to kind of elaborate a bit on that. So, one of the principles that can make this whole thing very powerful is minimum use of forms and lists, which are obviously the base of some of our existing tools, including project and agile management tools. So is there a way we can get away from that and make it much more board, workboard, centric? And if we are able to do that and also correspond it to the various SAFe levels, that is essential, portfolio, large, or full, and that can be done using simple visual board kind of representation, that can make SAFe much more powerful. In terms of lean execution, other ways in which we can get sophisticated value streams, enable teams to kind of define their own value streams. We could have different swim lanes with different value streams that are part of the entire SAFe teams. That make the whole thing much more powerful. The things that we keep hearing from a lot of customers is the ability to have sophisticated value streams which make sense in the real world. And I think the ability for teams to define their own value streams and not necessarily fit into existing value streams or official value streams, I think is extremely important. And all the concepts of lean principles, like are you of things like block risk alerts, notifications in a visual paradigm, I think really helps in lean execution. And a way to kind of play back a retrospective of how actual teams performed in a particular REI, that would help you to realistically visualize the bottlenecks and base something which is on lost in translation because of the tag. So actually able to do realistic playbacks of the board of your entire value stream, then gives you a much more realistic way to keep a continuous improvement cycle going on, and then help you to remove bottlenecks and constraints as you go forward. terms of use, especially when you're looking at multiple levels of, safe, and hence the need to abstract and see it at multiple levels, I think becomes key. This whole thing can be mobile enabled and touch enabled for teams to collaborate on board. I think we believe will make the whole thing very powerful. Just to get some of the visuals on this, I've taken a few examples of 3 screens that can kind of add value and give you a few ideas as to how some of the things that we have talked of, whether it's depends on lean, visual, and ease of use, can actually add to power of the power of and can help customers. Is what I wanted to demonstrate here with the next 3 slides. So one is you can have the entire value stream visualized on workboards, and all your value increments can happen on this, and the value increment happens from left to right, which is kind of intuitive. How would it be? You can have dependencies. I mean, we really think that if you're implementing safe, obviously it's going to be a larger program, and hence there will be different dependencies in the real world. And if we can take actual visual way of dependencies at multiple levels, that would be very useful. So can we highlight potential conflicts, and would it also help us in multiple views that can suit our condition and data environment? And the entire work decomposition itself can be visual in nature, so you can go from a theme and epic to your whole about getting into a portfolio, a play. You can have user stories, so it can get into various hierarchies of the entire safe, and the entire thing can then be made extremely visual. So go from a theme to an epic capability to a user story, and you can get this entire traceability visually depicted in the hierarchy, and the ability to roll out. So you can do that. Then I think that makes the whole thing extremely powerful, where you can define parent-child relationships that suits your needs, and can also, if it can also help you to roll out from the child to the across the hierarchy, all levels of hierarchy. So we believe that what would make the entire safe tooling much more full and powerful, and we have tried to do with our product and the initial reviews that we have got, both Summit as well as the early program, is extremely encouraging. With a partial list of our customers, I think Dheeraj already mentioned that, and that I hand it back to Dheeraj.
Yes, Raghu, thanks a lot. This was pretty useful, I'm sure, for the larger audience. So thanks a lot for it. I've been getting quite a few questions, and I might not be able to take all of them, but I have a couple of those, some of the interesting ones. So I think I'll be taking maybe 2 questions if possible, right? So Nilima, this is to you. One of the questions that we've got is, vision and mission are an interesting bit that we added as a matrix. So it will be good to understand how it influences the sustainability, the continuous improvement element. Great to know your thoughts on how do you think it will impact.
To take that?
Yeah, sure, Dheeraj. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, I will I'll give my perspective.
Sure.
I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
So basically, the I put metrics in the mission and the actual thing was we need to measure definitely the execution, everything is based on metrics. However, there was a very strong input that these measures are not for comparing teams with each other. More in terms of how much is a team improving over iteration over iteration, and so basic metrics like what is velocity, estimated velocity, what's the actual burn down rates, and I think all the Raghu was explaining, the two tools really help in that. But in terms of bringing about continuous improvement, the intent is to for the team to use these metrics and figure out improvement actions or how to do better in the coming cycles.
From our perspective, apart from whatever Nilima mentioned, one of the things we have some of customers really appreciate is the fact that you can do a live playback of the real board. So it's kind of a time machine where you go back and kind of replay the entire thing as it happened. That we have seen does really help the team to identify some of the improvement programs. I think it's very important, like what Nilima mentioned, that it is not individual who where the focus is, but it's really the overall team that kind of improves on a time horizon. That is what is the focus rather than individual or look at some specific pockets.
Great. I have one other question before we wrap up. And I will start with Nilima again. So what do you think are the key considerations while enterprises are looking to adopt SAFe for, specifically when we talk about talent, infrastructure, processes, the position they are in the agile transformation curve. So what are some of those key considerations that organizations should keep in mind?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dheeraj. I'll take that. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
So typically, all these factors that you mentioned, the actual, processes, tools are important. However, what, in our experience, what we have found is that it's basically the change in the mindset that really can be successful or, not as successful as it can be. And the change in mindset is typically at all, right? It's engineer levels where engineers start operating as a team rather than individuals, and then up till the leadership levels where it's not about just control and command, right? It's about being part of the team and following basic principles basically. So I would say the human aspects of it, the aspects, I think those are the most important leading to the success.
Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, if I answer your question right, I think you were saying what kind of led to the adoption of SAFe and why are companies adopting it? Is that a question?
Yeah, why companies are adopting it and why they start to adopt it? What could be some of those key considerations that they should keep in mind to
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, what we have seen, I think, is kind of actual evolution. And obviously, Agile has been around for some years, and companies have been at various stages of adopting it. Like Ilima mentioned now, and I think also in her presentation, the biggest factor is really a change of mindset. And but we are seeing that the mindset has started to happen. Obviously, the smaller companies, especially the product companies of the new generation, start to adopt it much earlier than the larger enterprises and the Fortune companies, right? Fortune 500 companies. But obviously, the Fortune 500 companies started to see a lot of benefits of this and started to adopt it at individual team levels, right? So you started to see individual teams for the last, I would say, 8 years, start to adopt agile programs, but they were pretty localized and they were using it within their teams and so on and so forth. That around 3-4 years back, obviously once it became mainstay, the team became mainstay. Then the question was, at least for larger companies, larger programs, larger product development kind of initiatives, how would they scale up? So in some sense, the question of can we have a large program, large portfolio run on Agile was a question that started coming up in the last 3-4 years. And there are various methods which kind of started to evolve. They started to take some baby steps. There was a scrum of scrums and some other methods that came in. But I think in the last I would say 24 odd months, because I think the rigor and depth which I think the SIF org kind of to bear, we have started to see that it has become the option of choice. So I think I say the last 2 years that have become the predominant way in which large agile programs are done. So that is how the natural evolution has happened, and that is how we also got into it from a tooling perspective. Now, I think the success part of it, Neha has covered, and I would reiterate the cultural aspect of it and the fact that it is a mindset thing. You kind of need to move from a project to a product kind of a mindset, and those are things that are happening as we speak. There has to be a lot of investment that has to be done in training and continuously monitoring this entire thing. And those, I think, kind of become the key success factors, at least from our perspective.
Yeah, I think that was helpful. We'll do a wrap here, and I think this is really good. Audience, feel free to send me your questions or any queries or clarifications that you might have at theajudgedoc.com, and we'll be happy to take up as many questions as possible. Thanks, Nilima and Raghu, for joining in and sharing your views. I'm sure these would have clarified a lot of your questions and given a lot of awareness about this new concept, which would eventually become really inevitable in times to come. So thanks a lot, everybody else, to being in. I wish everybody a good weekend ahead. And yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.